This is ContactTalkRadio.com. Consciousness in action. And you are taking action into your consciousness by tuning into Contact Talk Radio.
And on TuneIn.com, Hing.fm, and UpSnap Mobile.
Contact Talk Radio.
Throughout the nation and around the globe, from his heart to yours, it's Dear James Live on the radio, here on the Contact Talk Radio Network, bringing you intuitive insight, answers, and advice to your life questions.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Dear James Live on the radio, here on the Contact Talk Radio Network. This is your host, Dear James, and today we are tackling Express Yourself. And in that, I mean, tell it like it is, and then let's hear what the universe has to say. In the past 6 weeks, we have been covering the Power Of series, the power of permission, gratitude, forgiveness, intention, and surrender. All of which are great topics, but they can also be heavy topics because they require that we look at ourselves. And so this week, I wanted to do something a little more footloose and fancy-free, if you will. And I've also committed to giving out to the first 3 callers a complimentary 30-minute intuitive consultation. There are 2 callers holding, so there's 1 spot remaining. And potentially, depending on how it goes, I might get even more generous and do it for all the callers that I speak with today. Because at the end of the day, this is about changing ourselves so that we change the world we live in. So I'm very excited about today. I don't know what to expect. I don't know what the callers are going to want to talk about, but that's the beauty of Express Yourself. Tell it like it is, and then we'll see what life has on offer. I'm going to take the first caller. Let's go to Yvonne from Los Angeles. Hello, Yvonne.
Good morning, Dear James. How are you?
I'm very well. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. And a quick congratulations to you hitting your 10,000 Facebook hits.
Thank you very much. Yes, that was a very exciting moment. It was very exciting. Thank you for that, and thank you for noticing.
You're welcome.
So what's on your mind? Express yourself.
Ooh, well, there's a lot going on. Probably, it's an interesting thing. I saw what you were talking about today, and I thought, I think I'm going to give him a little call and see what he has to say.
Okay.
Or see what you think. I'm in an interesting place right now where I have 3 different opportunities, 3 hugely different journeys, business propositions, essentially, is what they are, which, of course, when you're taking different kinds of business opportunities, they also impact your life at every single level. And I'm sort of standing at an interesting place where I'm entertaining all of them, all 3 of them, some of them, or none of them.
Okay.
And I'm a little uncertain, kind of which one might be a good direction for me, or there's a lot of unknown waters, I think, with all 3 of the opportunities.
Well, the interesting thing, one of the things that I'm picking up is that you need to be cautious about your next steps, the directions you're going to take, because this is very much a time where you have to really decide what are you about? Who do you want to associate with? What types of people and industries and engagements do you want in your life? Very, very important, because you're going to make one of 2 choices. You're either going to continue to experience things, i.e., I call it you're not done suffering yet, and thereby you need to continue to learn lessons. Or you're going to choose this path of empowerment. You're going to choose this path of, this really resonates with me, or it doesn't. And if it doesn't, you must give yourself permission to go the other direction, to say no, and to go the other direction. And what I'm getting at, and it's a subtlety, but this whole year, as we've been talking about, is about bringing us things that we need to transcend, that no longer serve us. And what's familiar is our default mode. And sometimes we look at new opportunities with a familiar lens. And that familiar lens kind of denies you clarity, because what you're doing is looking through this lens of familiarity. You're not standing back and looking at it and saying, am I doing this because it's what I already know and because it may be easy, or what I'm accustomed to and I'm afraid to do, the new opportunity? Because sometimes the new opportunity isn't new. It isn't a new opportunity is what I'm trying to get at. Mm-hmm. It's masquerading as that, but only your soul will know which one is it. And what I'm getting is that these are potentially opportunities that are masquerading, that you're still not yet really giving yourself permission to really seek and do the business that just makes your soul smile. Is that ringing true with you? Are you?
Yeah, I think on some level, sure. I think two of the opportunities are opportunities that I know how to do.
Right.
Part of it is I don't know how to do, which is an interesting, it fascinates me.
Right.
The third one is such a out on the limb kind of, who knows what could possibly happen, never done it before. So they all three are interesting in their own right. And yes, of course, I think that's why being familiar, I think that's the reason why they're coming my way, is because they're opportunities that are authentically tapping my skill set, if that makes sense.
Right. No, absolutely. Absolutely. And in that, I guess what I'm sensing more of is it's like you've yet to hit the gold mine, is what I feel and sense. It's not that these aren't good opportunities or that they don't have intrigue or elegance or any of that. It's not to say that they are bad in any way. It's to say that I'll give it to you the way I get it. You're meant for something greater. You're meant to really push the envelope this year, to transcend, to really let go and transcend, and thereby the opportunities that come to you by you passing these opportunities up, something far greater is going to come to you. I get that this is a test. This is a test for, even though these are new and exciting and they have their elements and so forth, are you willing to really soar? That's what they're saying to me. And I get that you have an incredible skill set and incredible knowledge. You just you need to remember the risk taker that you were many years ago. You somewhat defied odds many times in life, and defied odds meaning you went out and did things that other people would never have dreamed of doing, or said you couldn't do, or that type of thing, and you defied those odds. You were a big risk taker, and they're basically, the universe is basically saying to you, time to be that again, time to really expand and soar. And if you take that risk, that calculated risk of, okay, something that you may not yet see that's far greater is going to come to you.
So one of these three paths, if I were to take them, would that be the door to the next thing you're referring to?
No, I'm what I sense and what I get is that you're being entertained. The universe is entertaining you, and they're saying to you, they're testing your your resolve, your commitment to what does Yvonne really want? And that question is deep inside of you. And they're saying, basically, risk it all to have it all. So even though these are different paths, they will play out as being more of the same. And you're not looking for more of the same. You're looking for freedom, liberation, joy. I mean, true expansion. And you just have to be fearless, is the word they're saying. Be fearless like you were at other points and times in your life. Be really fearless. Because it's not to say that any of these will be a wrong choice. It's just that they're saying that you have the opportunity to have far more. And it's something that you can't see because it hasn't yet presented itself, because the universe is saying to you, we need to see, are you willing to have more? Are you really willing to commit and believe? Or, even though it's new, status quo, is that where you are? Do you see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, makes sense.
And that's where it's, that's what's happening. That's what I'm getting for you. So we can certainly delve deeper into that, since you're one of the first 3 callers.
And I think, am I lucky number 1?
You are lucky number 1.
Being lucky number 1.
You are lucky number 1, and that's exactly who you're meant to be. Number 1.
Aww.
That's an interesting point, that you are the lucky number 1. And I would say take that thought and that position and what that means into your deliberations as you reflect on the path and the way forward. Because you're really meant to be number 1.
But aren't we all?
Yeah. Yes, indeed. But we have to choose it.
There you go. It's always about choosing. Right?
It's always about choosing and knowing that that's exactly what's taking place.
That's so true.
So don't fret. We're going to talk more. Is that helping you right now? That
sounds great. Thank you, James. I appreciate your commentary and your insight as always. And so thank you.
Well, thank you very much. Thank you for being the first caller. And have a blessed and beautiful day, and we'll be in touch.
Thank you.
You're most welcome. Okay, so choices in life and career choices and elements where we have to have the moment to stand back and determine, are we being tested by the universe? Are we listening to our soul's deepest desire? That's really, really important. Because in making those decisions, there are never any wrong decisions. They are all just opportunities. And when I say just opportunities, they're opportunities. Each path will lead us to an opportunity of learning and involvement and exposure to people and so forth. So that is where we are. We are going to go to a quick break and then come back and take our next caller. So everyone there holding, please stay holding, and we will be back after this short break. You've been listening to Dear James live on the radio here on the Contact Talk Radio Network, and today's show is all about expressing yourself.
The desire to be more consciously enlightened is innate. Do you feel there's more to life? If so, find the resource that's right for you by going to DearJames.com/resources. You are the reality you create. Make it a great one. When you ask a question, the universe hears you, and in a multitude of ways, they seek to communicate with you to provide the intuitive insight, answers, and advice you seek. From serious to silly, monumental to mundane, there's nothing the universe can't cover. Maybe the insight you receive is exactly the affirmation you were looking for. Then again, it may just give you a whole new perspective on things, and that's the beauty of the universe. Submit your question to Dear James at DearJames.com and click Ask.
Available for private, individual, group, and corporate consultations, Dear James will provide you with the intuitive insight, answers, and advice to your life questions. Schedule your consultation by going to www.DearJames.com and click on Consultation.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Dear James Live on the radio, here on the Contact Talk Radio Network. Today, we're talking about express yourself, tell it like it is, and then hear what Dear James has to say about it. And we are also doing a complimentary 30-minute consultation, private consultation with myself, Dear James. So we are going to open that up and continue that today beyond the initial 3 callers, because it's some really great conversation that's happened with the first call. With the first caller, Yvonne from Los Angeles, and we are now going to move right to Maria from LA. Hello, Maria. How are you?
Hi, James, and thank you so much for your generosity.
You're most welcome. How are you?
I'm good. I'm excited and I love the topic of tell it like it is. So I am doing this tell it like it is all the time. Sometimes I don't get the expected reaction.
I can understand that.
But hey, this is what I do. This is who I am. So I want to find out from your, give me an insight about my relationship with this gentleman I started about 5.5 months ago. I'm very excited about it and happy, and I want to know your insight.
Well, let's see. So you've just begun a new relationship is what you're saying, yes?
Last year in the fall.
Last year in the fall. Okay. Well, the point of the show is tell it like it is, right?
Yes.
Okay. Well, the minute you said new relationship in 5 months, the word that came to me was disastrous. Now, I sense that I sense that there's a lot of dishonesty going on around this relationship. That people are not being pure. They are not being honest. There are many hidden elements to this relationship. Not everyone is truly free, and thereby, while it feels like the icing on the cake and the best thing since sliced bread, and I could go on with all of the adjectives, there's just a lot of dishonesty going on here. Is that?
Yeah.
I hear you going,
Yes. So keep going.
Well, because ultimately, in order for any relationship to work, it has to be built on trust. It has to have a solid foundation. And and what I'm getting is that that you're not being honest and pure with yourself, and thereby because that's happening, this is going to be a long and tough road to hoe. This is not going to be what you expect it to be and what you want it to be and what it might be at this moment isn't going to be the lesson in the journey and so forth that you're going to learn from it is really what I'm getting. And so I would say to you, it's I understand that there are extenuating circumstances, if you will, that are playing into your life and unhappiness and however, you have to have the strength and the courage to alter those elements so that, again, the foundation that you have when you walk into a new relationship, it's solid. It's not by, it's not due to escapism. It's not due to, you not having, loved and respected yourself enough. Do you see what I'm saying? There's just a lot, you have a lot of, house cleaning, as we would say, there's a lot of house cleaning to be done here. And that's far, far more important for you. Because otherwise, it's like, because all of these hidden elements are going on.
The hidden elements are other people that he's still attached to?
I get that there are hidden elements on both sides for both of you. That there are hidden elements going on. There are truths not being told. And thereby, I keep coming back to this word disastrous, that somehow this ends up being a very disastrous engagement, because it's just not what because of how you entered it, it becomes disastrous. Do you understand what I'm saying? Do you?
Yeah, and how I entered it, I'm not clear of how to interpret that.
Well, in other words, if there are truths, if there are things that are lacking in the truths of how you came into the relationship.
Truths from my side or from his side? Because I am aware of some loose ties and loose ends and some unfinished business that was hidden, and then dishonesty was around it. We brought it up to surface, cleared some of it, what I thought, most of it. Is this going to the relationship? I know you said disaster, and I'm gonna tell it like it is in the question I want to ask you, because he's talking about marriage and engagement and buying houses together, and are we heading that road, or this will come to an end?
It's funny because before you were talking, what was coming to me was all of this way too fast. You're gonna, if you were to continue on this, wham, bam, engagement and marriage and boom, boom, boom. You're going to wake up one day, not in the far too distant future, and say to yourself, what the hell have I done?
Mm-hmm.
And it's going to be far, far, far more difficult to get out of a relationship. It always is. It's far difficult to get out of a relationship than it is to get into one.
Mm-hmm.
And what I'm saying to you is this relationship started off with alarm bells. It started off with untruths.
Mm-hmm.
And you're just beginning to uncover. You're just scratching the surface of what's really there and what's really going on and what this is really all about. So if I'm you, run. Don't walk. Don't crawl. Don't ponder. Run.
Wow. So, okay.
It's just...
okay.
I'm just telling it like it is.
I know. James, would I run and this will end? And if so, when? And if someone else speaking through the door to come to my heart the way I want it?
Well, and that's the point here. That's the lesson. You can learn, you just hit it on the head. You can learn this lesson by going through a very disastrous relationship, or you can stop right now and run. And when I say run, turn and walk away and say, I love myself enough to know that this is about me needing to love myself first. Be honest and truthful with myself about everything in my life. And then when I'm ready, that real person will come into my life because I'm ready. Because I'm really in a place of loving myself and all of that. So this is a lesson for you about that. And what they're, and we're going to discuss this more, okay, when I talk to you on your private consultation. But, the point is to know they're just screaming in my head, run, 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 run. So I would say thanks, but no thanks. You know what? I just need to put this on ice and choose a different path.
When do you see me coming to a conclusion to run, to end it?
What time is it now? I say that it's 9:32. So I'm going to say to you that hopefully by 9:35, when we've hung up and everything's done, that you've sat back and gone, Because ultimately what I'm saying to you, Maria, is your soul is telling you it's conflicted, and I understand that.
Yes.
But I think what you have to do is take the rose-colored glasses off and listen to your soul. Listen to that part in you that's saying, this doesn't seem right. This doesn't feel right. I think like I'm making excuses or, things like that over here, because those are all the things you're doing. You're kind of ignoring all the things that are really leaping out to have the good time, to have the enamored somebody loves me part.
That's true.
And when that enamored someone loves me part goes away because the train wreck arrives, the disaster arrives, then you're going to be saying to yourself, why didn't I stop? Why didn't I run? And I don't mean run away from something. I just mean,
I accept your point.
Right.
The dishonesty is infidelity or motives of using me for his advantage, or both.
There's so much going on there that there's so much going on there. This just isn't. This is not good. It's not I would say to you, learn this lesson a different way. By all means, learn this lesson a different way. So let's talk about that in our 30-minute consultation.
Okay.
And in the meantime, love yourself, love yourself, love yourself. And end this relationship.
Wow.
Or end this lesson. It's
okay.
It's just not a good one. And
can I end the lesson while I have the relationship with him?
I like you.
I know you do.
I like how you want the universe to play ball by your... You're like, look, okay, so if I learn the lesson like this, then, okay, right, I should be able to learn it like this and not have this disastrous consequences. But the funny thing is, you know that when I say disaster or disastrous, it rings true to you. You feel it.
Why do you think I'm calling you?
Well, and there we have it. You see what I'm saying? That's why I'm saying to you, I'm speaking the truth to your soul, and I don't know you.
Yeah.
So if that's the case, then everything else that we've just talked about follows suit. And the universe is like, ha 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 ha, she's nice. That's great. I like that. But no, they're like this. You get to learn the lesson. You can go the disaster route, or you can go the, I need to love myself route. And when I love myself, this won't happen. I won't invite this kind of person into my life. I'll have something far, far, far greater. So,
is that a glimpse of what's to come? You mentioned it, so I gotta ask.
Yes, but you have to choose it. I mean, again, everything in life happens as you create it, as you choose it.
Yeah.
So if you're creating these circumstances that you're experiencing, and what I'm saying by you calling in today is realize you have a choice to stop this disastrous choice. That is totally and only within your power. If you create it, you have the ability to change it. So, by all means, empower yourself to listen to the part of all of this that's saying, this is wrong, this is going to be disastrous, this is going to end badly. Because there are all those components residing in you that are telling you that. You're just choosing, because the desire to have or to be loved or, to be in love is greater for you at this moment than all the other realities. And I'm saying to you, okay, the universe is speaking to you. Dear James is talking to you and saying, run, go the other direction. And by doing that, you'll have a far greater, you'll learn the lesson in a far greater way, in a better way, in an easier way, because you loved yourself. You did it from within. So.
Okay. I'm looking
right.
forward to our private chat to learn more about.
Perfect. We will do that. I will be following up with you after the show. Are you there? Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, there you are. Okay. So anyways, I'll be following up with you after the show, and we'll continue on this conversation.
I look forward. I can wait. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Maria. Have a beautiful day. Okay, so just before we go into our final caller, at the moment, final caller, we're going to take a quick break, and I want to come back quickly after the break and talk to you about Maria and her call. You're listening to Dear James live on the radio here on the Contact Talk Radio Network, and we're expressing ourselves.
Available for private, individual, group, and corporate consultations, DearJames will provide you with the intuitive insight, answers, and advice to your life questions. Schedule your consultation by going to www.DearJames.com and click on Consultation. The gift of giving is immeasurable. Give of your time, talent, resources, and money. Give not only because you can, but because by doing so, it is already coming back to you. As a people, we are only as strong as the least among us. Together, we harness the power of the collective whole and see through our deeds the power of miracles, both large and small. Find the charity that's right for you by visiting www.DearJames.com and click on Charitable Giving. One person or kind act really does make the difference.
When you ask a question, the universe hears you, and in a multitude of ways, they communicate to you the intuitive insight, answers, and advice you seek. Ask Dear James a question and experience the magic of the universe. Visit DearJames.com and click Ask.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Dear James Live on the radio, here on the Contact Talk Radio Network. Today, we are expressing ourselves and telling it like it is, and so far, we've gone from business to relationships, and we have our third caller, Sandy, holding, and I'll be right to her in a second. I just wanted to go back and express something. Both of these calls so far today, whether it's business or the relationship, is about giving yourself permission to be and to see things in a greater way, to see them, to step back and see what is it that I truly want in life, and then how am I going about achieving it. And I will say to you, always, especially from my second caller, Maria, if you're walking into something and not being truly authentic and not being and your intentions, as we've talked about, if your intentions are not pure, then, and you have to realize, is your intention to be loved, and thereby, in reality, you're not loving yourself enough, and thereby you're inviting these types of situations to come about in your life so that you learn to love yourself. You know, you have to be clear about your intentions, and you need to watch what and how you're doing it. It can be disastrous. And so you want to make sure that that's not what you're doing. Okay, let's go to our third caller, Sandy from Burbank. Hello, Sandy. How are you?
Hey, James. I'm good. How are you?
Very well, thank you.
Good. Hey,
tell it like it is.
I'll do my best.
All right.
I'm not one that typically minces words, but I do want to first say thank you for your Power Up series, because it's been reaffirming, eye-opening for me in so many ways. So I thank you so much for that.
Well, thank you very
think,
much.
I feel with going through the various steps of the Power Up series that it's opened so many doors, and I'm really feeling overwhelmed. Because
yes.
It's crazy. I feel really overwhelmed. So I'm at a crossroads in my life where I need to either go left or right, and it's career and and personally, but right now my journey is with my son, who's in 5th grade, but he's struggling in school. He's being tested for dyslexia next week, and he reads at a 2nd grade reading level. So I'm at a point where I'm hiring an advocacy attorney because the public school system is not providing the resources that he needs.
Okay.
So I'm feeling a struggle because I'm very active in our school community, and I'm very active in the city that I'm living in. And I feel like I'm nervous about really ruffling feathers on one end, and perhaps, and that may sound ridiculous, but I'm concerned about the relationships that I've built, that maybe now they will look at me as like, oh, I'm just another one of those crazy mothers that's, making the district's life difficult. And then on the other hand, I have to think, which is first and foremost my child and what's best for him and his future. If you can't read, you're not going to have a future.
Right.
So that's where I'm struggling with that. But yesterday I had to go and look for a file to get my divorce papers because I can't find them.
Right.
And for the hour and a half that I was at the courthouse where my ex-husband works, my heart was pounding, and I was scared to death that I was going to run into him. So I'm struggling back and forth about interacting with my son's father and my son's education. And so I know it's kind of all over the place, but I'm really feeling overwhelmed.
Well, what I'm getting right off the bat is a couple of things. One is permission to be. So, you were talking about the Power Up series, and one of them is what I'm gaining here is that you're still in the process of giving yourself permission. Permission to be, permission to release all of this old baggage, garbage, all of the old. The funny thing, funny that the thing that you're searching for are divorce papers that you can't find, and you have to go down to a courthouse and place yourself in the exact place that you don't want to be.
Yeah, which I've been procrastinating on doing for months.
Right, because in a certain and funny enough, that which you were, they hid the divorce papers. So the universe hides, they hide stuff. They say, because you're meant to move on from it. You are meant to release. So they hide them and they put you in the exact spot to give you the exact feeling, that dread and that horror and all of that stuff, because they want you to finally release it. Let go of it. Let go of that past. Right. Give yourself permission to let go of that past. It's interesting how they brought it about. Oh, you need it in order to do something, with your son and so forth. But the point of that circumstance that you just mentioned was really transcend this past. And
that's what I thought. I thought, I've turned my house and my garage upside down, and I can't find them. And I thought, oh my gosh, this is meaning that I have to go and I actually have to, face my fears, which I've been doing, like through forgiveness and asking for forgiveness. So me forgiving and asking for forgiveness. And it's just this crazy journey, but it's been a great journey, but it's been emotionally draining.
Well, yes, because I sense that you still have to, in the giving yourself forgiveness, what I sense is that you still are looking at this failed marriage as a failure. And you need to take the F word out of your vocabulary.
Right.
It's not a failure. You didn't fail. You learned a lot.
That I did.
So if you hadn't learned, but even then, you would have learned that you didn't learn.
Right.
So it's never a failure. There's no act in life that's a failure. It's always an opportunity to learn. And so this means that you need to transcend. What you really need to forgive and transcend is your belief that this was a failed marriage or a failure on your part. It's not. You learned. You learned a lot. And you need to give yourself credit for that. You need to see things where you're a totally different person now because of that marriage. And not in a negative way, but in a positive way because you've learned. So those are, Go
yeah,
ahead.
it's like
Sorry.
your first caller, Yvonne, when you told her, she used to be a big risk taker, and that was me. And now I'm finally finding myself starting to kind of allow myself to open up to do that. It's taken a long time, but I'm finally feeling, that I'm starting to do that. It's just it's a slow process for me.
Right. Well, it's a regaining of confidences. It's a relearning of identity, of self. When you're in relationships, and particularly if they're, if they have some longevity to them, we tend our identities tend to meld and join or conjoin with the other, and it takes time to undo that. It takes time to discern who you are now post relationship. Mm-hmm. And so very often that's where one can struggle because they're trying to understand who they are. Right. And I want to move to your son. This issue of advocacy, when there's advocacy or public advocacy, that can be beautiful. And if it's done in a positive way, if you walk into this with, listen, it's not that you're failing my son. It's that we can do better. These children deserve better. So it's how you frame the argument. It's how you frame the discussion. If you go into it saying, you're failing my child and, you're entitled to this better learning and so forth, then it's combative. You're going to have a fight. Mm-hmm. However, if you go into it saying, listen, there's a special need here and we're not meeting it. How can we meet it? What tools do you have available? What options? How can I engage you, school district, principal, teacher? How can I engage you in a positive manner that will bring about the result that you're looking for your child? Because that's ultimately what's important. It's also to look at, is there a means by which, and this can be, how do I say, there can be foundations or places or programs. Is there any private schooling, private tutoring? And I'm not talking about, obviously that the first one is, you pay for it. I'm not necessarily talking about that. I'm talking about, are there other learning programs and opportunities that might assist him that are available that you may not yet be aware of?
No, I'm aware.
Okay.
And that's what I have to bring to them. But it's like $40,000. It's super expensive.
Right. Okay. So those are issues where that's the pay route. That's why I'm saying, okay, that's the obvious pay route. What I'm saying is there may be opportunity that you will find. And sometimes learning comes about. What I'm getting is that sometimes this deficiency in learning of reading can be overcome through other means. And other means might be that engagement in the arts, engagement in music, engagements in the creative mind of your son, of the child. Because sometimes it's just, we all learn differently. We all learn to speak languages differently. Some of us are audio, some of us are visual. Some of us learn in different ways. And it may take a different methodology for your son to actually learn to read better because he's engaged differently. Mm-hmm. And those types of things can be actually, for lack of better words, free. It's not the $40,000, tuition type thing or a private enrollment and so forth. What I'm saying to you is broaden how you're looking at this. And if you're doing the advocacy with the attorney and so forth, do it in a manner that isn't accusatory. Do it in a manner that is of betterment for all, of advocacy for all, so that you have that opportunity. Because the way you go about it, the way you position your request is going to dictate somewhat their response.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't want it doesn't need to be combative.
Right.
You can go about it in a way, and we'll talk more about this when we have our private consultation, because there's more that needs to happen. There's more that we can cover in that 30 minutes than we can right now. But what I'm saying to you is just really keep an open mind and look at how you can present this opportunity, not argument, to the school and the school district and so forth, and say, is there a way that we can achieve a greater excellence as opposed to pointing out their failures? You see what I mean?
Yeah. Yep. I completely see what you mean.
So, and Barb's going to take your information, then I'm going to be calling you right after the show, and we will schedule our 30 minutes and continue it.
Okay.
All right.
You.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Bye.
Bye-bye. Okay, I'm down to 4 quick minutes. So what I'm going to say, there's Elena from LA. I'm going to take Elena very quickly. And hello, Elena. How are you?
I am good, thank you. How are you?
Very, very well. I just wanted to say to you, we're going to be very quick and short on time. But what I will do is extend to you the a 30-minute free consultation if that's good for you. How's that?
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you.
That would be great.
Appreciate it very much.
No problem. So what we'll do is I'm going to call you after the show, and Barb will take your information, and then I will schedule a 30-minute reading with you, okay?
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much for calling in. I look forward to speaking with you. So today, everyone, we have been covering Express Yourself. Tell it like it is. And in and of itself, that is a positive topic, because you need to be able to see life for what it is, see the opportunities for what they are, and realize that at the end, it's not an external, there's no external person or place or thing that makes decisions for you. You control that. You set your course. You create your opportunities, your experiences, your reality. You create them. And in so doing, be mindful of your intentions. Be mindful of that voice that's whispering inside of you, because that's the one you really want to listen to. That subtle, quiet voice is your soul speaking. It's the universe speaking to you. And you need to tune in and listen to that. Don't brush it aside. So with all of that, I thank you all. We will be following up later in the year with the finale of the Power Of series, which is going to contain the power of faith, the power of love, and the power of enthusiasm. So those will come later in the year. And like always, I thank you so much for listening and for calling in. And I'll leave you with this thought. No matter where you are, or whom you're with, or what you're doing in life, wrap yourselves in goodness. This has been Dear James live on the radio here on the Contact Talk Radio Network. Sheila and Hans are coming up at the top of the hour. Stay tuned.
You've been listening to Dear James Live on the radio with your host, Dear James. Gain intuitive insight, answers, and advice to your life questions and so much more by tuning in next week and visiting DearJames.com.